Hi, and thank you again for joining us with Spectsolutions YouTube. We're here in beautiful downtown San Luis Obispo, and we are what is known as the Mission Mall. It is a bunch of little family-owned and operated stores, and kind of a neat little mall. When I was younger, it was called the Network Mall. Mr. Michael's, which is a leather and fur shop, has been here, my gosh, probably, I'm going to say since the late 70s, early 80s, and still here today. So they must have been doing something right. Folks, what I would like to talk about today is the vaccine mandate and the mask, and which in my opinion are really okay. If you're vaccinated, you still have to wear a mask. The vaccinations never end, and even if you're vaccinated, you can and will still get sick. And regardless of vaccinations, you're required to wear a mask. And what we're watching is an unconstitutional grab of power, and it is carrying out the Marxist plan in separating and dividing Americans here across the nation. And something that I would like to point out is, with this separation, very much like in Nazi Germany during the Holocaust, they had the Jewish folks wear stars on their shirts to identify that they were Jewish, and for that division and separation. Now, here today, that gold star has become a mask. And it clearly, you can see the difference between the conservative folks that value our freedom and our Constitution versus the folks that are leaning towards socialism. The folks that are leaning towards socialism, they're wearing a mask outside, in their cars, anywhere they go. If you do not have a mask, you might as well have that gold star on your shirt right now, because much like in Nazi Germany, the conservative folks who believe in freedom, who believe in God, and love our flag and love our country, we're being attacked. Our freedom and our conservative values, our family values, which makes a country strong, all of the above. The only possible way to take down such strength is to literally what they're doing, causing this kind of division amongst fellow Americans, literally making them hate and fight with each other based on political views, nothing to do with anything else. They're trying to turn people against each other for the color of their skin, for their religion, for their family values, whether or not they're homosexual, lesbian, or straight. None of these are based on what's good for we the people. This is all based on several different ways to separate and divide. And as you can see, how many people are wearing masks versus not wearing masks as we go. Our Constitution protects our religious freedoms, our freedoms to travel state to state, here within the United States. We are supposed to have that freedom based on our Constitution. Yet, with these unconstitutional mandates that are putting out, it is restricting all of these. And you can see yourself here of the difference in how many people are wearing masks and not wearing masks. Like I said, this is a clear way to identify height. And what they're doing is it gives the opportunity for the very radical socialist, hi, how are you, ma'am? To attack, physically attack conservatives. They know who to attack. And there is no one, no police, no one who will do anything about it because they have been told to stand down. Not to serve and protect, but to stand down. And we're talking about even violent acts. You have the homeless in doorways that are ignored. So, who are the real criminals and who are the real corrupt out there? You follow the money 100% of the time. You will find the culprits. It's not real hard to find. Here in the city of San Luis Obispo, we have the real bosses, which are city attorneys, county attorneys, county council, like Rita Neal, Christine Dietrich, city attorney, Rita Neal, county council. These are the culprits, along with the county and city managers. Here in the city of San Luis, Derek Johnson being the city manager, this shouldn't be going on. We shouldn't have mentally ill, unhoused homeless as bad as we do. We shouldn't have a problem with CalPERS like we do. And we have a city manager, city attorney, a county council, which is an attorney, and the county manager. All of these folks, just like our district attorney and our sheriff, the highest law enforcement in our cities and counties, have taken an oath to uphold and protect the Constitution. And this simply and clearly is not taking place. You look all around us. The fact that they are not protecting the streets and that they're they're allowing people to get harassed for not wearing a mask. They ignore the HIPAA Act. They ask you private medical questions. And it's okay to ask these questions and force the answers and force you to show proof of these vaccinations before you can go in places or board aircraft, go into hospitals and what have you. And again, this is nothing but a power grab and a violation of our Constitution, very much designed to separate fellow Americans instead of uniting them. And a lot of this, most of this, almost all of it, is based on misinformation. And they're building fear with people to create the fight, trying to create a civil war. a civil unrest with we the people. And this is something not just going on here in my hometown of San Luis Obispo, California. This is going on across our entire nation. And we as Americans, if we want to protect our freedoms, we have to decide right now. Do we want to play in to this big show, which isn't necessarily the truth? Hollywood and trickery to trick the people into being against each other for a socialist takeover? Or do we want justice? Is this justice? Are we seeing justice? Or are we seeing a complete collapse of our system? We need Americans to stand together and stop the bickering, stop the fighting, start protecting our Constitution, start fighting for our freedoms that we are slowly losing. We're watching this across the nation. Anybody with common sense can see what's going on before your eyes. Do we love each other or do we hate each other? Is there justice or is there no justice anymore, folks? Decide for yourselves. Live from San Luis Obispo. And again, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time on Spechtsolutions YouTube. Have a good day.